Every dream begins with purpose. As a humanitarian, world traveler, and preacher, I've seen faith turn impossibilities into testimonies and dreams into destiny.
And as an actress, host, and ministry leader, I've learned how God uses stories to heal, inspire, and call us into His purpose.
This podcast unites faith, purpose, and the dreams God has planted in us.
We're Randy and Shani, and this is a Dream Scripted Podcast.
Hi world, it's Randy and Shani, and we are the hosts of the Dream Scripted Podcast. So glad you're here with us tonight. This is a podcast where we believe that your dreams, your goals, your purpose have been divinely scripted by God Himself.
Yes, that's right. I love that. Today, we want to talk about the importance of building community while pursuing your God-given
That's right.
purpose.
Yeah.
And we want to take a deep dive into LA, where we're based, right?
Definitely talk about LA.
Yeah, I know I've been here for so many years, and I know that before you got to LA, Randy, you've lived in multiple different places. Can you talk a little bit about, before we get into LA, like how was community in those other areas?
Yeah, so I shared a little bit in our introductory episode to the world that I had the opportunity to live in a lot of different places. You know, I fell in love. By the time I got to Washington, D.C., I fell into love with the idea of working in international affairs. So I ended up getting my degree in international relations. And my first opportunity to go overseas was actually in Jamaica, where my parents are from, to intern with the United Nations. And when I got there, I always remember, it was 2013. I had landed in Jamaica. I would be living in Kingston. So that is the capital of Jamaica, where both of my parents are from. And so I remember I got down there on that weekend. It would have been either Saturday or Sunday. And I remember as I got to the hotel, the UN people came by, they would welcome me, you know, welcome to Jamaica, all the things that we're doing. We want to invite you to an event going on tonight. So I'm like, man, I'm barely unpacked. I'm like, what's going on? So I got to go out with some of the UN people that night, and it was an award ceremony, and Usain Bolt was there, Johan Blake, Shelly Ann Price. These are like, the top athletes in Jamaica, and the Prime Minister. So
wait, this was the night that you got there?
This was the night that I landed in Kingston, Jamaica.
Wow.
That evening, I got there late afternoon, early evening, and they had came by. I was staying over at the Pegasus, and they were like, welcome in. I'll be starting work that following week. But they invited me out. So I was like, all right, cool. And by the time I went out that night, I got to meet the Prime Minister. I got to meet Johan Blake, Shelly Ann Price. Usain ran away. I'm like, dude, I didn't even get to meet Usain, but I saw him, took a picture with the Prime Minister. But from day one, I had built up community pretty fast. Obviously, I had, church family out there, extended family. So I had connections out there. But it quickly became a place that felt like home. And those months that I was out in Jamaica, and shout out to Jamaica, it was one of the most exhilarating places and experiences that I got to actually stay. So I was down there for 5 months, came back and finished up my master's degree, and then I was able to go to Barbados for about a year to work on a UN project out there. And when I got to Barbados, one of the first things I noticed was the manners. Like, I was out one day, and I'm downtown in Bridgetown, Barbados, and all I kept hearing, excuse me, sir, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, pardon me.
So different from Jamaica,
I'm
right?
like, wow, one of the first impressions I've had about Barbados is just the manners. These people were just so kind. It was so new to me.
Right.
And I would say that I quickly found like family in Barbados. I had a connection through a church sister. Her sister was living down there.
Right.
And she kind of started taking me around to try to find a place to live. And Eventually found a place. I got connected with the Bailey family out in
Mhm.
Barbados. Shout out to the Bailey family. So sorry for not writing and talking for the last how many months, but happy new year to them.
Mhm.
And definitely need to connect with them soon.
And
But
how long were
Barbados,
you in Barbados?
about 11 months. So close to a
Wow.
year.
So 11
Close to a year.
months got community, 5 months in Jamaica got
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some people are in LA for years and don't have
Barbados
community.
ended up being like, I would say, like family.
Yeah.
And when I, got connected. But then as I left Barbados, kind of spent some time back home because my father had gotten ill around that
Right.
time while I was in Barbados. So I came home for a little bit and then transitioned into Hawaii. And Hawaii became this whole experience that I've never experienced in my entire life. And you know how much I love Hawaii. Hawaii, if you're out there listening right now, I got to show you some love
Mhm.
because Hawaii was a whole different experience because I don't believe you can survive in Hawaii without community.
Yeah.
It's like it's the very fabric of the culture there to connect with people who you consider family.
Mhm.
And so for me, when I got to Hawaii, November 2016, I'll never forget that in probably less than a week, I was calling so and so auntie, this one uncle.
Wow, in a week.
It just I quickly got connected in Hawaii, and I was so blessed and lucky
Mhm.
because there was a good friend of mine who I got to meet some months that I was down there, and he moved down to work. I won't say his name because it was somewhat of an uncomfortable experience for him. But I noticed he wasn't connecting.
Mhm.
He had moved to Hawaii to work, but he just wasn't connecting, with friends. He wasn't getting connected with community. And I noticed one day, like I'm driving down the road, and I looked over, and he was walking, and I noticed his head was down, and he just kind of had this kind of energy of just anguish. And I looked
Yeah.
over at him, and I was gonna say something, but in that moment, rather than pull over and say something, I just kind of prayed and I
Mhm.
gave him a call that day just to check in. But I could sense that Hawaii wasn't really doing it for him because
Mhm.
in Hawaii, imagine being in a paradise and feeling, all alone, feeling like you're not connecting.
Yeah, that could be miserable.
It was crazy, but I connected quickly in Hawaii. And as you know, I ended up spending 5
Mm.
years out there. Hawaii, everyone, if you haven't been, there's no place like Hawaii. We got to
You have
spend a
such
whole
a
episode on Hawaii,
you
but
have such a rich life. I mean, that's amazing to have community all those places. So how has it been in LA for you with community compared to that? It's a
with
completely
all the
different place.
places that I have lived, all the places I've traveled to, found community in, I will admit that as I've landed in LA, everybody is a whole different
It's a different
beast. It's
beast.
it's different, babe. I'm gonna
It's
start
different.
with that.
Yeah.
LA's different. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you give a little because LA's different.
Yeah, because I've been out here way longer than you, and it is a challenge
Mm,
to find community. I even found some just some like notes on like what people say about LA, which I think is interesting. First of all, I do love this place
yeah.
and I never want to leave. I love this place, but the community aspect is different. And mainly it's because you can't compare it. Like
Mm,
when I did that when I first moved here, I always compared it to the East Coast.
okay.
The East Coast, I grew up with my friends within 5 minutes away. So it was nothing to say, hey, come to the mall with me. Hey, let's go grocery
Mm,
shopping. Not in LA. Like, they say like the sprawl factor, like the geographical um spread of LA
mm,
makes it challenging. You really got to have your friends live where you live.
okay.
You can know someone and they can be an hour away from you. It's going to really affect things because they're so far. Traffic is insane out here.
Mm,
You're not going to call up that friend and say, "Hey, let's go to the mall." Or, "Hey, it's like everything is always planned. There's no
yeah.
spontaneous moment? And I remember just being on the East Coast, like, if I got up today and I just wanted to go grab
Mm,
some food, it's like, "Hey, I'll pick you up." No one picks me up.
that's funny.
Nobody picks
Come
me
on,
up
LA.
here.
Wow.
Right? And I go to the mall by myself. Like,
Mm,
I go a lot of places by myself. I have found community here more so in the spiritual um department of
okay.
life,
Okay.
but like just kicking it and just like, hey, run to the mall, let's do little errands together. I do not have
Not
that.
happening.
I'm on FaceTime with my family as I'm doing that. So I do think that how the landscape of LA makes it very
Mm,
challenging.
okay.
Also, it says like people in LA are so focused on their careers here. So a lot of the time when you meet people, the conversations
Mm,
are tailored around work. What do you do for a living? Because, people came here for their dreams, babe. Like they
right.
came here to make something happen.
Mm,
So, you really got to try to get around asking people, what do you do? Like a big thing that I'm trying to do this year is I don't wanna ask anyone, "What do you do?" Like, I just wanna know, "Tell me about
mm,
yourself," because it could feel very opportunist. Like, "Oh, what do you do?" If I say key names, then it's like, "Oh, now you feel I'm a valuable
mm,
person?" And if I don't say key names, I'm not valuable. So I do feel like a lot of those conversations are around work.
okay.
Um, and then it says, like, people are always moving in and out of Los Angeles, which was
Transient city.
yes, such a transient city. Like when I say I've met so many people out here just from doing acting and being out here so long, so many people. But it was hard to kind of like let it stick because even if you found someone that is stick, they always left. A lot of people that I did know that we got a little cool, they
Mhm.
left. People come here to, they don't plan. What I found is a lot of people don't plan to make LA their forever home.
Okay.
It's like a, a stepping stone, a building block. It's like, hey, I'm here to do this, hope that it pops off, and then I'm out. And for me, I want to live here forever. I want my dreams to come true and I want to live here
Yeah, there's
forever.
this whole like stereotype that LA people can be a little flaky. But this is the thing. There is some truth to that. I've come to find I'm learning this.
Mm,
But it's what you said. You come to LA, your express purpose is not to get all jolly and get into friendships and be sing kumbaya. When people step foot in this city, they're coming with a big dream.
yeah.
They got some goals they want to achieve, and they know that this is the city that can make that happen. So I kind of want to throw it out there. Yeah, that little stereotype, LA and the people could be a little cold. You could feel a little lonely. But again, don't take it personal because
Yeah.
the people I'm starting to meet in LA, I'm realizing, all right, no, they're not trying or on purpose trying to be flaky with you or be unkind
Yeah.
or come with some negative energy. But you got this is a city of dreamers.
And
This is a
it's
city of
expensive out
dreamers.
here, so people
Oh
don't
yeah.
have time
Oh yeah.
to kind of just play around
Yeah.
and leisure, but I do feel like they need some balance.
Mm,
You have some churches that offer a lot of groups and stuff. And
mm,
like I said, I'm connected spiritually, but like you do need balance. You need some people that can you know, just kick it with. And then you need the people who are going to talk about work. And I feel like you need it all. Because if I just meet people who I'm just always talking about work,
mm,
what happens if I'm in a low season right now where things are just not working out and you're my my friend and things are working out for you. You're not going to how people are out here, they don't want to talk to you. It's like, "Hey, I don't have time. I got to get it. I need to, blah blah blah." You need people around that's going to speak life into you when that season comes to you, right? Who's going to
right.
love you for you. Cuz that's, like they still know who you are. So, I feel like it's still needed, LA. We
Mm,
still need to be like compassionate human beings.
right.
It's needed. God doesn't want us to go through life alone, you
I
know?
feel you. So you feel like do you admit that there's some truth to that? Because it's like in LA, you'll meet someone and be like, yeah, let's grab some coffee. Let's get up.
Oh,
There's all this
please.
excitement
Oh, please.
and they're smiling in your face and it's like, oh yeah, we about to build a awesome, wonderful relationship.
Yeah.
Let's grab coffee next week.
And then you never grab
You
coffee.
don't never hear from them again.
Oh,
Like
I
what?
hate that.
What's
I
that
have a
about?
friend, an actor friend, and literally we joke about that how people will say, "Hey, let's grab coffee," and then That it was just to say just to be nice. And it's like
It's true.
I'm not like that. I guess I'm very East Coast to the bone. Like if I say I'm gonna grab coffee with you, I will call you, follow up,
Mhm.
and try to, cultivate that relationship. But it is a lot of that. And I've gotten so good at like sensing when it's
Yeah.
off. Like I used to meet people daily, everyone is new that I was meeting. And I would know from the conversation, like, okay, this conversation is just gonna stay here.
Yeah.
We're not gonna, exchange numbers. We're probably not gonna foster a relationship. And that's okay. At some point I got comfortable with that.
Right.
But initially, it was very foreign to me because how I grew up, everybody that I met is like, "Hey, let's be friends." And I have very long friendships. I'm talking about the oldest is 3rd grade, and I'm
Mhm.
still friends today. So I wasn't used to operating like that, and I'm still not 100% comfortable with it, but I understand it now.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Okay, this is LA," I do feel like what I've learned is whatever you want to see in LA, you gotta build it. Whatever you wanna see in LA, you have to build it, and that's what I love about Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You have to build it. So here, you want community?
Yeah.
Let's go.
You gotta
Start
do it.
hosting
You
events.
gotta do it.
You
You
gotta
gotta
do
do
it.
it.
Start hosting events, start hosting gatherings, and that's what people have to do. Figure out what you're into and start to cultivate
Yeah.
small communities around that.
Yeah. And as you're speaking, I realize, with all that you would say, maybe the challenges of LA and the stereotypes about LA, the flip side of all of that is that in all the places I've been, babe, all the places I've lived,
Mhm.
all the places I've experienced, there is no place better, in my view, for dreamers than Los Angeles,
There is no
California.
place better than.
The balmy weather,
Yeah.
the palm trees, the beaches, the nature in this environment where people are coming to achieve things that they can't achieve where they're from. And this is the thing about LA. Where you're from, whether you're the weirdo, you're a little awkward, you can't fit in, you're
Mhm.
not you're not you're not you're not being celebrated for who you really are. The thing about LA is it will accept you for you, like who you are.
And just cultivate
Oh my God.
your own group. That's
That's
it.
LA.
Cultivate it.
So I've come to realize some of the goals I've had, even when I was living in Hawaii, to start a podcast like this. Yeah, I had the idea, I had the vision, but it's Los Angeles that allowed it to come to fruition, that
Yeah.
provided the resources, the people,
Yeah.
the energy. I've never seen a city like this anywhere that you can come with an idea and with a dream and take that idea and actually make it happen.
Right.
I've never seen a city like that. So I'm growing to love this city.
Mhm.
I'm realizing that, okay, as I'm starting to get into the groove here, and this is the thing too, community, you got to trust God to bring that to you, because I'm realizing, all right, I don't have it all together like I had in Hawaii as far as community or Barbados, but people starting to get to know me. I'm going to my local bagel
Oh,
shop
everybody
now.
knows
They're saying,
Randy.
hello, Randy. Hello,
Everybody
Randy.
knows Randy.
They so it's coming, and I'm starting to really love this city and appreciate it for what it is, like no other place. And that is, if you got a dream, you got an idea, you have something that you really want to push out to the world, there's no better place than Los Angeles.
Yeah, I will
My
say
girl.
that I am happy that I have you because I've
Mm,
I've been out here for so long alone, and you came to LA already having a relationship. So I think
mm-hmm,
that does change your perspective on it. I came out here just me,
yeah,
so I think I am very, very appreciative for this season of my life to have a partner,
right,
like a built-in best friend. I'm grateful for that. And we get along great and we work together great. So I am grateful for that season in life.
yeah,
I do want to give the viewers some practical steps on how to build
yeah, definitely.
community.
It's important.
Yes, I do feel you have to pray for divine connections.
Yes,
Trust God, but pray
yes,
for it, right? Pray for
yes,
divine connections. Ask God to bring the right people.
yeah,
That was, I have to say this. I used to pray to God, like, God, come on, why don't I have community? Like, bring people in my life. And I remember God said to me in the bathroom, He said, some people are not worth keeping company with. And
mm,
I said, oh, that's a
mm,
word. Some people are not
mm,
worth keeping company
come
with. That's
on,
why you need the right people. So
Right.
pray to God to send the right people into your life. Second, be intentional about seeking relationships.
Mm,
Join these small groups
yeah.
and be committed. Don't say I'm going to join and it's like, oh, every week I'm not going to do this. No, be committed. Attend these events. Show up,
Yeah.
and then invest in the relationships that you already have.
Okay.
That's a big one, babe. God already gave you some people.
Mhm.
Invest in that.
Yeah.
Nurture those relationships. Call those people, right? Don't
Yeah.
let weeks, months go by. Reach out. And then lastly, be vulnerable.
Okay.
Let others into your struggles and victories. Stop
Mm.
acting like everything is always okay.
All right.
It's not. Be vulnerable. That's how you get connected with people.
Right.
It's okay if you're going through something. All right. Maybe I'm put here to give you a word to help you today. I don't know.
Mm.
But you're never going to foster relationships if you can't do some of those practical steps I just brought up.
I love that. And like anything, those of you who might even be considering moving to Los Angeles, because it's an awesome place. I'm
Yeah.
gonna big up LA. Allowing yourself to put God first again. He's going to provide the surroundings and community that is right for you. Because sometimes as you seek it yourself, because you're feeling lonely,
Yeah.
or you're feeling like, okay, tag, I ain't got nobody really around here. You just start to take on friends just for friends' sake.
Yeah, no.
Might not be the right people for you.
Not the right people. It
They
has to be
might
the
not be
right
the one
people.
that's going to be long term to support you.
Right.
It might be a wrong connection.
Right.
So trust God to connect you with the right people who are going to be for you, who are like minded, who are going to actually bring positivity into your life.
Yeah.
Because as you know, you bring some wrong people in your life, especially in a place like Los
Oh
Angeles.
man, some people here are very dark. It's like, no,
Oh,
stay
yeah,
over
you don't
there
want
with
to.
that.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
don't want
want
to go
that.
down that
I don't
road.
want to be connected with that.
So you
Yeah.
think about coming to LA, pray about it,
Yep. Pray about it.
put God first.
Put God first.
Trust me, He's gonna connect you with the people that you need in your life. He always does. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. So
So I
I
think
want to
definitely,
see what God has to say to us today.
yeah,
With us, let's just scroll.
from the script
Oops.
of God Himself, Bible. I love it. Go ahead.
Yes. Ecclesiastes 4, verses 9 to 10. Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. I love that. That
Powerful.
that was me. I was doing life alone for so long, and now Randy's here to help me.
And I came to LA not alone because
Right.
I
Right.
had you. But this is our love letter to LA.
Yes.
It's a city I'm growing to love, and it's a city I'm sure a lot of people have on their mind, like, should they come here and live?
Yeah. Do
You
it.
put God first. You got a dream. You got a vision. You got a big idea.
Mm-hmm.
This city will allow it to come to fruition. I believe that.
Yeah.
And so, babe, I know that our dream is going to continue to come to
Oh,
fruition.
yes, it is.
And so
yeah, we
wanted to
love
send
it.
This,
Yeah.
send this love letter.
Love letter to LA, and
Yeah.
comment down and let
Mhm.
us know,
For
like,
sure.
we want you to really challenge yourself
Yeah.
this year. Join a life group or
Right.
a small group. Like, take a step, do something,
Mhm.
to start to foster community wherever you live, right? And that's what we want people to walk away with. Understanding that community is very, very important and it takes effort.
For sure.
Yeah. So
With
I
that,
think, yeah, with that, I think we're good.
definitely want everybody to have a good night. Thank you for joining us again on Dream Scripted. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
That's right.
Have a good night, everybody. Love you, LA.